I live in the northeastern United States, and in the northeastern United States, just like most of the rest of the United States, Christianity is the dominant religion. However, it is not like the Bible Belt or any other area of the United States because Protestantism is not the dominant form of Christianity in this area. It's Catholicism, as many Irish Catholics, Polish Catholics, and other Catholics immigrated to this area of the United States over the last several hundred years as the Protestants congregated in the South. Now, the main difference between Catholicism and Protestantism is faith in Jesus Christ and good works, is what the Catholics believe. And the Protestants believe that simply faith in Jesus Christ is enough for salvation. Now that you've sat with that for a minute, I want you to think about what that means. That means that even if the Bible commands you to live in a certain way, simply having faith in Jesus Christ to a Protestant means that you are able to do that. If you've ever had a job in the service industry, specifically in food service, you most likely have heard of the post church Sunday crowd, mostly made up of Protestants, who will go and be incredibly rude to the staff after church, despite being told by the church how Jesus did, having a reading from the gospel, a reading from the Old Testament, a homily. Although I've actually never been to a Protestant church, so I assume this is what happens. And also receiving Holy Communion in the Eucharist with the body and blood of Jesus Christ. Although I've heard that they don't necessarily always use the proper things for it, and that it's not actually consecrated in the way that it is with the Catholic Church. Now, interestingly, good works in the Catholic meanings is good works. It means helping the poor, it means helping the disabled. If you've ever noticed that the Catholic health system in the Northeast is the largest healthcare provider in most areas of the Northeast, there's a reason for that. That's how they evangelicize. That's how they spread the gospel and the news of Jesus Christ, by showing and living like Jesus. I don't think I've ever seen a Protestant church have a health system. The Catholic health system where I live provides all manner of health care. There are some manners of health care that they do not provide because where I live, the county medical center is the only hospital certified to provide mental health care because the county wanted it that way. So, because of that, the Catholic health system does not provide emergency mental health care, but if you need it, they send you to the county medical center after you get whatever other treatment you may need, ensuring that you get proper treatment. Catholic Charities doesn't require you to be a member of the Catholic Church or even a Christian to receive charity. And they do this because of the same reason. It allows you to see how Christians live. Protestants will often say that Catholics are not Christian. And I find that very interesting because Catholics, in my opinion and in my experience, live the most like Jesus. Yes, there's Catholic guilt, and as a cradle Catholic that's no longer a practicing Catholic, I have that. But what I can tell you is that I was taught from a young age to respect everyone. Let the immigrant move in with you. Treat them as a man. Treat them as your own, because in Exodus and Leviticus and Deuteronomy, it says the immigrant living among you should be treated the same as a non immigrant because you were foreigners in the land of Egypt. Well, the foreigners. And because of that, the Catholic Church believes that. Sure, the Catholic Church is pro life, and I use that in finger quotes because they don't like abortion, but the Catholic Church wants you to procreate, just like every other religious entity does, because that's how they gain more members without having to do the other things. That's just a thing. I have met some Protestants. I've met Anglicans. I've met Baptists. And honestly, I've had some very bad experiences with Protestants. The majority religion in the city I live in is Catholic. And it is generally a normal thing. Where I work with the Catholics, they don't say anything about being Catholic. They might just say, "Oh, I'm going to church on Sunday." Like, okay, have fun. They might say, "Yeah, I'm going to the church potluck." Okay, cool. But when you have a Protestant in your life, they will often try to convert you to Protestantism because you need to be saved by believing in Jesus Christ. Now, there are certain types of Protestantism that believe that only certain amounts of people will actually get into heaven. I believe Jehovah's Witnesses only believe that 144,000 people will be saved, which is not a lot, considering that there's what 2.2 billion Christians, and if only 144,000 of them are saved, that's less than a percent of a percent. So yeah, I don't know why anybody would want to only be. And then also, like, how do you know if you're one of the 144,000? I find some of the theology of Protestantism very interesting. Um, the Catholic Bible has 72 books. The Protestant Bibles generally have 66. And the books that are missing from the Protestant Bible are kind of important in some senses, such as the Book of Maccabees, which is where you get Hanukkah from, which I learned about Hanukkah, where Jewish people get Hanukkah from. I learned about Hanukkah in Catholic school because I learned about why the Book of Maccabees. I learned about the Book of Maccabees, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. That's why this exists. But my issue is that the idea of just needing faith and not actually living as Jesus taught you to, if you're a Christian, is while also saying that Catholics who live like Jesus taught them to are not Christians, is that it's just rather, it seems offensive. And also, Catholics do not believe in the rapture. Protestants do believe in the rapture, which is the time at the end of times where the true Christians, according to them, will be raptured and there'll be 7 years of war. They base this on readings of the book of Revelation that don't actually make sense when you read the book of Revelations and understand that the book of Revelations is actually about stuff that happened towards the end of the Second Temple period, including the fall of Rome, the fall of the Second Temple. Well, not necessarily the fall of Rome. It took a while for Rome to fall. You remember, Rome didn't fall until about the 400s. But all of that makes me wonder, why? Why don't you want to live like Jesus? Why are Protestants often hateful? Why are Protestants just trying to proselytize to save you instead of actually doing things that save you in your material life? For example, Jehovah's Witnesses do not allow blood transfusions. Baptists, I don't think, have any issues with medical stuff, but I know that there are some Protestants that are anti-vaccine, and that's not good. I do believe that religious exemptions for vaccines should not be allowed, but unfortunately, I believe in the United States that would end up infringing on the Second Amendment. Now, I am very happy that I live in an area that is majority Catholic, since because it's the United States, I know that I would live in an area in a country where the majority religion will always be Christian. But Catholics make me feel safe and make me know that even though I may not be a Christian, I know that these groups of people who are Catholic Christians are going to be working in the best interest of me, my community, and the community we share, because it makes life better for all of us and it ensures that every single one of us will be able to have a happy and healthy time. Whereas with Protestantism, the lack of needing good deeds means that they can just do whatever they want. You'll often see Protestants go to a restaurant after and be hurtful to the server after church, and be hurtful to the server, leave a coupon or leave a $20 bill that you open up and it's just like a gospel quote, a misinterpreted gospel quote from them. My favorite one that I ever received was when Jesus went into the temple and started overturning tables and whipping people. Uh, because that was weird, because give to Caesar what is Caesar's and give to God what is God's. It means that, like, you shouldn't not tip your service staff. But this has just been me ranting about Catholicism versus Protestantism, because I have recently been arguing with Protestants online and it's not been fun at all. So here's hoping that things can get better, but I don't know. Thank you for tuning in. I will talk to you again
And
later.
again, thank you for tuning into the videos. Don't forget that you can also see me on Patreon at Sammy5436, where it's $1 a month. I also am seeable on Instagram at Sammy54361, TikTok at Sammy5436. I'm on Blue Sky at Sammy5436, though I don't use that often. I believe I'm on Tumblr at Sammy5436, but I haven't used that in at least a year. And you can find me at my business email, thetrapezoidtalks5436 at gmail.com. Any information you need to send to those business emails will be looked at. I generally look at my business email on Wednesdays and Sundays, so just do be advised that I do not always have the ability to respond immediately, but if you do send an email to my business email, and as long as it's not offensive, I will respond if it's something I'm interested in with something positive, and if it's something I'm not interested in, I will thank you for your email and go ahead and say that there may be a future opportunity for us to collaborate if that's something you're interested in.